Welcome back to another edition of the Offensive Foul Podcast. I am Andrew Rosenberg. We're joined by, as always, Sladro and Nick Young. And we are going to go over so far really what we've seen in the NBA playoffs to this point and where we see things going in the East and the West. And right now, I think we'll start with that Heat Bucks series, which has really been kind of a yawner, certainly if you're a Heat fan. And what does this say about the future for Miami and some of the decisions that Pat Riley's going to have to make as we head into the summer?
Well, he has to decide on what type of direction they're going to go, because to be honest, at this point now, it's very clear that they have a direction, but it's not a championship direction. And if they want to sit there and say, oh, the Heat culture and the Heat way, you got to be consistent. And everybody was wondering how some of these teams are going to be outside of the bubble. And Miami hasn't been very good from really the start of the season. They had a lot of lulls. And then now in the playoffs, they've just been embarrassing. But it comes down to their two best players aren't good enough to be the two best players on the championship team regarding Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. They just if they were 2 and 3 instead of 1 and 2, then they would be okay. But this is also the same organization who didn't want to give up Tyler Hero for James Harden. So then they would be 1, 2, 3, but that's a different story for a different day. But that team currently constructed as is, that's a perennial 5 to 7 seed in the East. And they may make a run every now and then, but they're pretty much at their ceiling on where they're at currently constructed unless they make a move.
Yeah, man. Call a spade a spade. Jimmy sucks. Let's just get that out the way. He's shooting 30% from the field in this series. He's absolutely stinking it up, stinking the place up. He's waking up at 3 a.m. for no reason. He can start waking up at a normal time. Wake up at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. like everybody else, because you obviously need the rest. He's playing terrible. Goran Dragic is the leading scorer in the series for the Heat. That's awful. He's like 35, 36 years old, coming off a foot injury. So, I mean, the reality is the reality. They just suck right now. And
they do,
and nothing you can really do about it.
It's not. And like I said last night, Jimmy and Bam had 36 points combined last night. That's not good enough, man.
I mean, they're averaging 15 points and 14 points total in the series. So it's 29 points a game.
And you're down, and you've gotten blown out 2 games in a row, and you got blown out at home. That's not good enough.
My view is a little different on the Jimmy thing. He's got a leadership quality to him. Now, is that going to translate to performance on the floor? Maybe not. But I also feel that Jimmy doesn't give himself enough confidence or credit to what he can do out there. Like, he needs to start these games trying to score. Like, he can score. It seems like he doesn't have the confidence that he's supposed to be one of these high scorers. I don't think he has any interest in doing that.
Well, and the reason behind it is because he just said he can't shoot. You shooting 30% or less from the field, from 3, whatever it may be, you're not going to have the confidence to go out there and be like, oh, I can carry the team tonight.
His blueprint is his good friend Dwayne Wade, though, who was basically a slasher. Not that Jimmy's at that level, but, there's ways to try and score or get to the line more. Aaron, how many times does it say Jimmy went to the line?
Into the line 18 times, and he's only made 12 in the series. So, yeah, that's 66%, which is also terrible.
Wow.
So maybe he doesn't want to go to the line at all.
Yeah, but he's just not, like you said, he's just not good enough, man. Like, people got to stop comparing, oh, well, this is the Heat organization, this is the Heat way. You still got to have ball players at the end of the day. And they just don't have... Yeah,
I'll give the Bucks some credit, though, because this series they actually have Giannis and Drew defending him most of the time. So it's going to make it tough on him. It's not the bubble where they kind of just let him do what he wanted last year, honestly. Giannis was kind of playing off-ball, Gordon just random guys. But now he's actually guarding the best player on the other team, which is making it tough for Jimmy. And I mean, he's still got a 7 whatever wingspan, so it's just tough. Hate to see it.
Yeah,
And it's
but
not, and it looks like, well, just talking about Milwaukee, since Aaron brought them up, that last night was an example where Giannis didn't have to have a fantastic game, and they still won. Although I think he had 17 and 17, but from a scoring standpoint, everybody else seemed to kind of carry things for the Bucks, which is obviously going to help them as they progress through these playoffs.
But they also have shot making on the outside where if Giannis doesn't have a great game, Giannis, Middleton, or Drew don't have a good game, they'll be okay because I mean, Connaughton may get hot. Well, Dante's out, but he can hit a few shots. You gotta have secondary shot making outside of your main guys to have a shot, and that's what they have.
And that alone is why he needs to play down low, in my opinion. That's where you'll draw the double teams and open up the shooters. You're not going to open up the shooters standing at the top of the key debating on whether or not you're going to shoot a three or get an offensive foul on a dribble drive.
Honestly, I think if the Heat want any chance in
mentioned
this series, they need to just go on bench Trevor Ariza, play Jimmy Butler at the 4, and just pray. Start Tyler Hero, start 2 guards. You got to do something because obviously nothing's working. You're not going to stop Giannis anyway. So
I'm gonna go ahead and stop you while you ahead before you sit there and say so they can have a chance. It's 3-0. It's what they say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 Cancun. That's what it's about.
1, 2, 3. But Dante's
1,
out
2, 3
now.
Cancun.
Trust me, this Dante loss is like Dragic in the finals last year. It's like Jamal Murray to the Nuggets. It's like Draymond gets suspended in the finals.
Yeah.
It's like Kobe getting hurt against the Pacers. This Dante injury is real serious.
Yeah, it is. But guess what? It's still 1, 2, 3 Cancun, Miami.
Hey man, if it was one team that'll blow a 3-0 lead, it'll be the Bucks.
I agree, but not 3-0. Not 3-0.
One last point, and then we'll move on to the next series. As I'm checking my phone, there are reports Kendrick Nunn may get $15 million per year.
I did not know the Chinese league was paying that much. That's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. This is what we talk about it all the time. That's
Shanghai Sharks. Woo.
How? And I'm not hating on nobody. They love to. Oh man, these guys love to talk and they just hate. That has nothing to do with that. If I'm paying you $15 million, you better show up every single night. We ain't got time for no 1 for 12 games. You can pay 15, 20, $25 million a season.
Imagine being paid $200 million and not showing up.
But as much as we think 15 million is a lot, it's really not at this point. Like 2 years, 30 million for Nunn. That's really nothing.
That's a Kent Bazemore deal.
Yeah, that's really, and Bazemore got like 4 years, 72. So like, I know 15 sounds like a lot, but that's really
it's really not that much now.
Really for role players, it just sounds crazy to hear still.
It's still getting used to it.
I mean, he'll get it for sure. He's young. I mean, he's decent.
Yeah. This is crazy because the max used to be like $15 to $18 million a year.
So, all right, let's move on. That series is obviously going to lose.
It's done. It's done. Like I said, 1, 2, 3 Cancun for Miami.
Earn it, like I said. All right, so Hawks Knicks. That series moves down to Atlanta. That game is on tonight. Obviously, the story of Game 1 was the big Trae Young game winner, and the crowd then became a story. Which Game 2 seemed to help carry the Knicks, who were trailing at halftime in that game, and the energy of the crowd. And Derrick Rose actually was obviously a key piece there. What are you guys' thoughts as this thing heads down to Atlanta for Game 3?
I honestly think that this series is going to be headed back to New York. I'm going to go ahead and go out on the limb. When it heads back to the Garden, Atlanta's going to be up 3-1. Make a sticky note and write it down. Write it down. 3-1. Atlanta going back to the Garden 3-1.
And what's crazy is I'm literally going to say the same thing. It's going to be 3-1 going back to the Garden, but the Knicks are going to be up 3-1. Make a sticky note and write it down on the same sticky note that the Knicks, you know what? I guarantee that the Knicks are going to be up 3-1 when they head back to the Garden, and they're going to finish it off in 5. Knicks in 5. You can count it, book it, whatever you want to do.
I'm gonna go Hawks in 6. It's gonna be Hawks in 6.
But
I just don't see. I don't see New York finding it. At the end of the day, as much as I love him, I know diehard Bulls fan. My heart still breaks to this day about D Rose and how all that situation played out. But I just don't see him playing. He's gonna play 39 minutes, but I don't see him scoring 30 points in 2 games on the road.
what about
I just don't see it
yeah,
happening.
the idea that Julius Randle could be one of those guys who's going to play better on the road because he's feeling less weight on his shoulders in front of that crowd? We've seen that in the past where guys have much better playoff series on the road than when in front of their home crowd.
Yeah,
He
but
can't
you got
he
to
can't
think
play any
role
worse.
players, man. Yeah, he can't play worse. He can't, but it's still role players like Alec Burks. Like, you think he's gonna explode for 25 points 2 games on the road? Probably not.
No.
Yes.
I'm telling you, Aaron, the Hawks have too many shooters on that team.
And they
And
had
then
shooters.
what did they say? Role players shoot better at home.
Yeah, they had
They
shooters last
like,
game too, and they couldn't
yeah, and
shoot.
they were on the road.
I don't care what it was at. If you can
They were
shoot,
on the
you can
road.
shoot. You
You
think Steph
can,
be
but
like,
you
oh,
know
I'm on the
what? It
road?
never fails. But the
Man,
Steph not. I said role players.
man, Steph is a role
You
player. He couldn't
comparing
beat
Steph's
Memphis.
character?
He couldn't beat Memphis.
Yeah, one guy.
Yeah, he lost to Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen hit a big 3 on the road. I'm sorry. I don't hear that. If you can shoot, you can shoot.
Okay, so
Okay.
Gallo and Bogey can shoot, and they're going to be at home.
I'm not sure if Gallo can shoot anymore, but
I
because
know.
he's
Yeah,
been
you need to
looking
go ahead and
bad.
pay that mohawk off.
He's been looking
Yeah,
bad. He looking like
I
Born
am.
more the top, whatever his name was.
I'm curious to see the crowd in Atlanta because over the years, going to the games there is a New York contingency that lives in Atlanta. The question is, will they get tickets and be in there pulling for their Knicks? I'm telling you, you're going to hear some Knicks cheers on TV tonight.
Yeah,
But
that wouldn't shock me because I mean that's kind of how Atlanta is.
transient city, yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't really have a
Bandwagon city.
home fan base per se.
Yeah. Bandwagon city.
So, and let's also wrap up the
Hometown
East,
team,
right?
though. Definitely the hometown team.
Yeah, we know. Yeah. Sixers Wizards. Anything that's jumping off the page there in that series?
I mean, the biggest highlight of that series was been Westbrook getting popcorn thrown on him. So
That's
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
you get 1, 2, 3 Cancun that one. I can tell you that.
Yeah, you can go, especially there's any update on if Russ ankle or anything.
Probably he's
Anybody
gonna
know?
play because he's Russ.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
never
But
know.
yeah, you can 1, 2, 3 Cancun that.
I honestly, Philly just doesn't ever feel like that dominant team to me where I could see them
They're
losing
not.
game 3 in DC
And they're not. And you know
and
what?
turning this into a
And yeah.
series, and it shouldn't be.
Well, yeah, they are. I mean,
They are. And you know why? And it's the playoffs. And he had a great game the other night. But I just don't know. I got to Ben Simmons just
we're not
continue his
doing that.
playoff run.
That's a top 10 player in the NBA. We're not doing that.
Remember that one
Top
time he hit a
10.
3-pointer?
Top 10. Top 10 in the NBA. We're not doing that.
All right, so we'll keep an eye on that series, and hopefully some more intriguing storylines develop. Speaking of non-intriguing storylines, Brooklyn and Boston. This series returns to Boston. Is that a situation where maybe they feed off the crowd and can steal one from Brooklyn, or is Brooklyn just going to try and finish them off?
Yeah, that's you know what? We said Miami and Milwaukee 1, 2, 3 Cancun. You can go ahead and Wizards 1, 2, 3 Cancun. You can go ahead and 1, 2, 3 Cancun the Celtics as well.
I do think the
Uh,
crowd will help the Celtics, and
yeah, help.
they'll actually only lose by like 22 this time. So I think it'll be a closer
Yeah.
game for them. They might not lose by 30. You know.
And I know Drew. I know you're a fan of his, but Kemba Walker is bad.
He's
He's
not
bad.
bad. All right, we're
He's
not doing
bad.
that. He's not bad.
He's bad.
He's just not.
He's
You
bad.
know.
No, he's bad. He's bad. They and the messed up part about it is they got 2 years left. on a 5'10" guy that doesn't defend, doesn't really create for others, and
But he's
really
so
hasn't, and
happy
it's
on the
not
floor.
efficient. Yeah, but and I get it. He probably, as they say, he's great locker room, great teammate. I get that. But if I'm paying you $160 million, I don't need you to be, I'm not worried about you being a great teammate. I need you to go get it for me. But that's just my opinion. I don't have time for 5 for 17 points with 4 assists on a playoff game. I don't have time for it.
Welcome back to the Offensive Foul Podcast. We are going to get into these Western Conference series, and we'll start with the Lakers and Suns, gentlemen. And let's start with Nick on your initial thoughts on how this thing is shaking out so far. Obviously, the Chris Paul injury is one of the top storylines there.
Oh man, Suns. I've said it before, and it's showing. CP is hurt, but I've heard the Suns. They're a year away. Any team that has, let's just go back to any team that's had a rebuild, that had, the Suns, what was that, mid 2000s, the late 2000s, had a little playoff success. They haven't been to the playoffs since. But usually that first playoff run, no matter how good, 50 wins in a condensed season or whatever, they're just a year away. They just don't have enough guys who are just ready for that moment. And the Lakers do have those guys that are ready, and they're gonna understand the playoffs, understand the game better.
Mm-hmm.
And Phoenix, they just don't have Phoenix doesn't have enough. With CP being out, Phoenix doesn't have enough. They don't have enough ball. They don't have enough ball handlers and enough playmakers. But Lakers, you can. I don't know. After we have another episode, it may be 1-2-3 Cancun for Phoenix, but it's just 2-1. But I don't know. But I don't care about Phoenix. Let me have a little Lakers rant. That team's leader, and the way those guys acted last night, and I'm all for competing. I'm all for having fun, but that team, somebody needs to hit them in the mouth and do it early in the game. Maybe not necessarily anything dirty, but somebody needs to hit them in the mouth. Dre Crowder, Aiden, somebody needs to send a message
It looked
to
like
those
last
guys
night,
about, like, because it
Crowder
was disrespectful.
They
It was
were.
disrespectful. It's like it's
Were,
a first round series, and you hooting and hollering and jumping up and down, and Andre Drummond, and it's just, it's a team full of front runners, man. But you know why it's a team full of front runners? Because their leader is a front runner. And yes, I'm talking about LeBron James. He's a front runner. Everything is going good is okay. AD is a front runner too, but I don't even want to get into the topic about him. He had to, but go ahead, Aaron. I'm not even gonna go there today.
See, I was about to go crazy, but I'll be logical. First off, Phoenix, they're done because Chris Paul's hurt. He's averaging 6 and 6 in this series. So if Chris Paul's giving you 6 and 6, you're not winning. It's going to be a 5-game series. Lakers going to win again. Then Phoenix, they're going to fold in game 5. But do kind of want to give credit to the Lakers because, our best 3 players, because I'm a Lakers fan, Anthony Davis, he's averaging 27 and 10. Dennis Schroeder, he's averaging 19 and 3. And then Andre Drummond's averaging 11 and 10. So our best 3 players are doing what they have to do.
Aaron
Love it.
saying
I love it.
Schroeder, one of the best 3 players.
Anthony Davis, Dennis Schroeder, and Andre Drummond are the best 3 players on our team. And then our role players, they're on and off. KCP, Caruso, Harrell's not in the lineup. I don't know where Kuzma is, but the team's looking pretty good. This is going to be in 5. We'll see what we get next series. I'm not even worrying about this Phoenix series anymore. It's over with.
Two contracts to pay attention to out of this. One, what do you think is going to happen with Dennis Schroeder? Did he cost himself money, or he still has enough games because they'll probably go far in the playoffs to maybe make himself some money?
I think he costs himself money from a contender. I think he can still get what he's looking for, but it won't be on a contender. I think he can probably get around between 65 and 80 from a contender. But if you're looking for 100
that's about
plus,
right.
it's going to be Orlando. It's going to be Detroit. It's going to be somewhere you don't want to go, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What about?
He would be a good. No, I would say the Knicks, but they don't really. They don't.
You know where
He
he'd
doesn't
be
really
good
fit
at?
with them.
He would be good in LA, just next door.
Yeah, he would be.
They have a
Yeah,
crazy owner who may just be foolish enough to throw.
Yep.
Yep. And what about
but
DeAndre Ayton and his performance, which has actually
Oh,
been?
he's gonna get a max.
he's
Wherever the max
he's
is
getting
for him,
max.
he's gonna get the max. He's gonna get the
He's
max.
he'll get the 5 years, 150 with the
Yeah.
incentives that could
And
bump
not
it to 190.
even if he wasn't playing well, he was gonna get the max because
Yeah, he was gonna get
you
that.
can't draft a guy number one over Luka and don't give him the max over Luka
Yeah,
and
and he's
Trey.
been playing. I mean, he hasn't been bad in his 3 years.
but
And like he's
as a
I mean, he's
GM
been
ownership group, you can't not give him the max, even though that's
and he's actually been good. I mean, you got to look at it too. He was 3, so I mean, you're talking about what that's. So he was a year after Bam. So I mean, you paying Bam that much money, you got to give Aiden that money too. Even though Bam has been an All Star, but it's
I mean, Aiden's 22, so you got
yeah,
some time.
he got time. But yeah, in he's definitely when he hits his peak and his prime, he's a minimum 20-12 guy. I don't know about his motor, if it's just there all the way, all the time. And he has to definitely improve defensively, but there's nothing wrong with him getting I won't argue about him getting the max at all.
Let's move over to the other LA team, the Clippers in Dallas, and playoff P and Kawhi. And let me ask you this to start out: if the Clippers don't get out of this series, what does the crazy owner do with Ty Lue? Is it?
Oh man, what?
Well, I was gonna. Is there not enough? Is one season not enough sample size, and they obviously bring him back?
Yeah.
Remember, they tanked at the end of the year too, which was kind
I'll
of
tell
a
you
questionable move.
Ty Lue is going to be the least of his worries because Kawhi Leonard's contract is going to be up, and he's probably going to be out of there. So if they get swept, losing 5, they lose in the first round, Kawhi's not coming back. You can book that one. Like it's no need to come back. He's doing way too much for this team to be down 2-0. You want to be the best defender on the planet. You want to be a playmaker, score. He's averaging like 34, 8 and 5, and they're down 2-0. Like it's only so much he can do. So I mean, they got guys like Patrick Beverly and Marcus Morris starting. I don't understand what Ty Lue's doing. So, I mean, he gets 80% of the blame from me. But, I mean, playoff P is actually performing, averaging 26, 9, and 6. Like 25, 9, and 6. So he's doing great, for him. But I got
They're
Ty
just
Lue
out coached.
confused.
They're not their team like they're way more talented than I'm not gonna say they are. They have more talent overall than Dallas does as a team. Much more talent overall, but they're just you're talking about Rick Carlisle against Ty Lue.
Exactly. Probably the second best coach in the NBA behind Spo, if I had to guess.
Seriously.
So he's just getting out coached.
Third. Can't forget Pop either.
No,
Probably third.
I forgot Pop. Sorry.
Yeah. Rick Carlisle probably third, but Ty Lue is. I mean,
do we think Clippers can win one of these 2 games in Dallas here? It's got to be the next one.
I know they better win both. That's what I do know.
I don't think they have to win both because if they can win one, get back home, win that one. All the pressure's on Dallas to win that in 6.
To close it out, but then they got it's easy to close it out at home though.
That's my point. But it's the pressure knowing if we don't, good luck. So
I just don't. As frustrating as it is to say, I don't see Luka like having a stinker. Like he's such a
he won't.
alpha dog. Yeah. So
honestly, I thought it was a myth. I saw it going all around, social media and stuff, but it's real. White boy summer, it's here. It is here. It is here. He is going crazy. They are taking over, man. And Tim Hardaway's averaging like 25. Oh my God.
Well, but that's their defensive game plan though. Like they're like I said, they're letting Luka. The Clippers are just allowing Luka to dribble up top. He finds whoever is guarding, whoever Patrick Beverly is guarding. He waits, looks around, calls that guy to set a screen. They run with this lazy trap, and they always over rotate out of the trap. And then Tim Hardaway is just wide open.
Yeah.
But then you get into, why is Beverly and Marcus Morris getting minutes? And Luke Kennard and Serge Ibaka barely. Luke Kennard is a 45% 3-point shooter, and he's getting DNPs. And then Serge, who he can rotate he's a very, very effective defender. He can knock down 3-point shots, and he's playing like 12 to 15 minutes a game. That's horrible, man. That's bad coaching.
Terrible
That's
coaching.
bad coaching. They're literally they're just getting out coached. They're getting out coached. You can see the obvious talent is there. They're just getting out, especially defensively. They're getting out coached.
Honestly, if they want to win, they have to probably bench Marcus Morris for Batum and bench Patrick Beverly for Rondo. The lineup they close with, they just need to start with because they dig themselves too much of a hole to try to come back. They've been starting off terrible. Marcus Morris is like 2 for 12 in the series from 3. He needs to just sit on the bench because the Mavs bench has like been killing the Clippers bench because they have Jalen Brunson, Richardson's coming off the bench, Dwight Powell's coming off the bench. They've been hooping off the bench, and I don't know what the Clippers been doing. Honestly, they've been bad off the bench
like I said,
and in the starters.
They be getting out coached. And it's easier to get. That's why Luka's playing the way he is too. I mean, inside the NBA crew talked about it the other night. Their defensive game plan is allowing Luka to do whatever. And at the end of the day, and I know he doesn't really get too much blame. They kind of, push it off on Paul George, but Kawhi and Paul George got to come together. And I know it may be, it's 2021 or whatever. If one of them is on Luka, they got to get through that screen. They can't just play off the switch, man.
I agree.
They can't just. I
Last
get
point.
it. It's hard. It's the game is so spread out. Nobody's really around the lane and everything, so it's harder to rotate. I get it. But you down 2-0. Both of them got to drop their nuts and say, "Hey, me and you, we got Luka for 48 minutes." That's what they got. They got to.
Last 2 points for me. If you know, I hate analytics, but I'm gonna say these analytics. The offensive rating for the Clippers when Marcus Morris is on the court is 78. Defensive rating 140.
Ooh.
That's all you need to know. And
Ibaka,
offensive rating when Ibaka's on the court 132. Defensive rating 115. There's your problem right there. Like there's your problem. If you want to fix it, I just told you what the problem was. But hey, maybe they don't want to fix it. And second point is stop letting Patrick Beverly play basketball. And that'll fix a lot.
Let's continue our white boy summer and head over to Denver here for the Denver Portland series where Austin Rivers rears his head and helps Denver close out the game 3 there in Portland, and game 4 is the 29th. That would be tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Do we think Portland ties this thing up?
Man, Portland is. I don't even know what to say about Portland. They're so up and they're so inconsistent. Like one day, they literally are a team. One night, they're like NBA, like they're NBA championship good one night, but then they can come back a night or two later, and it's like, oh man, that's a lottery team. And so I don't know if
it's the story.
Honestly,
Carmelo's career is go out and score 17 and lose.
Which is what happened. But they're just, and that comes back. I don't know how good of a coach Terry Stotts really is. I've always had my doubts about him, but he saved his job because, they've had plenty of those years, Portland will be they'll be 18 and 30 and then they'll finish, they'll finish 45 and 37. And they'll be like, "Oh my God, Terry Stotts, coach of the year, he really brought this team back around." But
They're capable
I
of
thought
tying
they,
this up. Aaron, go
oh, they
ahead.
definitely are. They definitely are. But it's just something, I don't know, something's just never
Well,
right about them
let's just go with the
or something.
facts. They ran into the best player in the NBA. That's all that's happening right now.
Oh,
They have run into the best player in the NBA, who has been probably for the last 2 years, by the way. The guy that's averaging 36 and 12, 36, 12 and 4, which I love about this is, he's a triple double guy. Unlike some people, forget the assists. I need to score to win this series. I'm not looking for the
Yep.
triple double. I'm going to come out and average 36. I wish other people would do the same thing, but that's neither here nor there. So my guy's come out. He's shooting the ball way more than he usually does, and he's shooting it well. 50% from three in the series, 60% from the field, 95% from the free throw line. 3 games, not a big sample size, but he's balling nonetheless. He's going to be the unanimous MVP. He should be, but
Ooh, unanimous? I don't know
the
about
voters,
unanimous.
like I said, he should be
I
the
don't know about
unanimous
unanimous. Not
MVP. He's been the
unanimous.
best
Not
player in the
unanimous.
NBA
Not
by
unanimous.
far.
I agree he should be
Who's gonna get a
MVP,
first place
but
vote? Who should get a first place vote?
Steph and
Steph. This guy not in the
Embiid
playoffs.
should.
Steph, stop! Don't do that. Don't do.
Just
We're not
because
doing
of
that.
what he took his team to.
He took him to a
And Embiid,
loss. He took him to the lottery. He
he
had
did.
lottery odds. That's
I
where he
agree.
took
I'm
him.
not saying
I can do
I
that.
agree.
I can
Jokic
do
should
that.
be the MVP. I agree,
Unanimous.
but it's gonna be a few people who give Joel and Steph first place votes.
Man, Joel played
And
26 games,
honestly,
man. Stop that.
if Joel didn't miss that time, it would be a very close race between them two.
I agree. And if I was 6 inches taller, I'd be in the NBA. So it doesn't matter. And and I want to give Michael Porter credit because I know a guy that's in here somewhere. I think his name was Nick Young. Said he was going to shoot him out of games in the playoffs. He's averaging a smooth 20 and 6. Shooting 50% from the field. But hey,
To my defense, I did say that. I'll own up to it, but
yeah.
I said I just didn't know how he was going to be in the playoffs in a real playoff environment. But
And
he's proving me wrong.
he's
If he can
lucky
prove
because
me wrong, I'll give it
he's
to him.
playing Portland, so the defense isn't isn't
But
the
I'll
best.
give it to him. No, I've been more so his efficiency has stayed the same from the regular. I give it to him. I have no problem. I
Yeah,
have no
but
problem with giving him.
if they advance, they're probably losing in 4 or 5, unfortunately. But hey, I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah.
enjoy this. I'm gonna enjoy this watch. Hopefully they give Jokic the MVP in the next week or so he don't have to get it
No man,
down.
they do it. They had an award show now.
Yeah, but I've been seeing them give awards out, so I think they did that. They didn't give Randall his award. Portion
Oh
got
yeah,
his
that's right.
award, so I think they just giving them out now because that award show was awful and COVID out soon. So yeah.
Yeah.
so as that series continues, if you're the Lakers, is there one team you'd prefer over the other? Do they match up better with Denver or Portland?
Uh, I, I don't know, man.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. I mean, that's a really tough one. Real.
You'd think without a Jamal Murray that they wouldn't
I
mind
would
seeing Denver, but Denver is such a
if
well-coached
Denver had
team.
Jamal Murray, I would take the way this Lakers team is right now, and I honestly, if especially and also having Aaron Gordon now too, and if they had Jamal Murray, I would take if the Lakers would have played the Nuggets and the Nuggets had, but that's just hypotheticals if they had him, but I would definitely take the Nuggets in 5 if they had
That
if
wasn't
they
a
had Jamal
question,
Murray.
Nicholas. That wasn't the question. He said, Who do the Lakers want to play? If they had a preference. Don't care about Jamal Murray. The answer, honestly, is the Nuggets, though, because, like he said,
Yeah,
even though I
that's what
just
I'm
killed him
saying.
for
That's my answer is it would be better
it
for
is
the
the Nuggets.
Nuggets if they had Jamal Murray, but I would
Because
that's definitely be
Portland's
the
strong
Nuggets.
suit is Lakers' weak suit. So their guard play from Portland is obviously, great with Dame and CJ, and the Lakers have Schroeder and KCP. So that's a dub for Portland
And
10 times out of 10.
Caruso.
Yeah, like I said. And then the Nuggets, their best player is obviously Jokic, and they have Drummond, AD, Gasol. So they
Yeah.
have stuff to combat him, kind of slow him down, get him out of his game. But they have honestly nothing for Dame and CJ. They're gonna get them, but I think they'll kill Portland inside. So yeah, they should want to see Denver, but at the same time, do you really want to see the best player in the NBA? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Especially if it's really
And a well-coached
Denver's
team.
guard play got hurt their guard play got hurt so bad with Murray being out.
I know, but it is. Hey, it's his white boy summer, and They got Jokic, and they got 2 half and halves over there with four MPJ, Gordon, and Austin Rivers. You know, they might
Yeah.
be on to something, as long as they don't play Paul Millsap. Had to
All
squeeze
right,
him.
let's move on to Memphis and Utah, and we saw Ja Morant drop 47 points, a career high in Game 2. It obviously wasn't enough. Where do we think Memphis needs to get some additional help here? What are the numbers Jaren Jackson has put up this series, or is it all Dylan Brooks all the time to help?
Uh, it's hard. Once again, man, that's a very young team. They're the youngest team to make the playoffs since Oklahoma City, I think. I think Memphis' average age
Hmm.
is like 24 years old. So this is honestly, I mean, this is a
Dipping their
test run
toe.
for them. Yeah, this is a test
Yeah.
run for them. I mean, that's all it is. They'll be fine. They'll have this experience, but like this series
Although
honestly
look at
didn't start
Atlanta.
until game 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look at who Atlanta's playing too. They're not playing a number 1 seed who shoots
Sure.
60% from three.
Yeah, this
But
this for this for Memphis is just get some experience. They're
yeah,
gonna lose. They're gonna lose.
get
They
some.
only
Yeah,
won a game because Mitchell was out. They're probably gonna lose
yeah.
in
That's what I'm saying. The
5.
series didn't start until game 2.
Yeah, so I mean, their oldest
That's what
player
they.
is Val, and he's 28. So I mean, like
Yeah,
they'll be
and they
back.
it'll probably be a 6-game series just because I can't see Memphis losing a game in Memphis with the series tied 1-1.
I can.
I would have given, even if Utah was up 2-0, I would give Memphis a game at home, even if it was
Maybe.
2-0.
Right.
I would give Memphis a game, but they're gonna have so much energy. But I don't know. Utah, they looked really inspired having Donovan Mitchell back. So and they're really good, man.
I mean, Ja
They're
almost
really
scored 50, and they still lost by 12.
yeah,
So it's gonna be
yeah,
tough. It's gonna be trouble
yeah,
for Memphis to win
yeah.
another game.
It's gonna be tough, man. Because Utah is very well coached, very well coached. They play good together. You can tell they like playing with each other, and like I said, they're not gonna get the credit because they don't have any necessarily, they don't have any really name guys besides, really Donovan Mitchell. They don't really have any, highlight guys or anything like that. Really, they have guys they got guys that what we always say, they have guys who play real basketball.
Yep.
And so, the most average NBA fans or the people that just tune in during the playoffs or whatever, they're not really going to be in tune to really just be like, oh yeah, let's watch Utah play. It's almost kind of like a old school San Antonio type style of play where it's like it's not flashy, but they just gonna line up and beat you pretty much because they're well
Hmm.
coached. They're gonna make shots. So, but
And
they're really good though.
they have a solid 9-man rotation in
Yes.
Utah. So and it's probably gonna drop to 8, once it's time. But they have 8 guys that's playing that's gonna give you quality minutes. No
Yep.
disrespect to Xavier Tillman and DeAnthony Melton for Memphis and Desmond Bain, but it's just they're not ready for playoff minutes, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's good
Hmm.
experience for
They're
them.
not.
5 or 6 games, they'll take this. They're gonna miss the playoffs next year though, but it was a good experience for them.
You think? Oh
Look,
yeah, that's a different combo. But yeah,
That's
but Utah.
exactly. I had
Another
to
point
slip
on
it in
Utah.
there.
I was kind
right.
of low on Utah when first coming into the playoffs, but just looking at their team, they're really good, man. I got to give it to them. They're really good. And at the end of the day, man, especially in today's NBA, you can't. They play so many guys who can make shots, and when you play out of their 9-man rotation, 7 out of the 9 can hit shots. The only 2 that are not going to step out and shoot are Rudy and Derek Favors. Everybody else can step out and consistently
Hmm.
hit shots. You can't. That's hard, man. When you got 7 out of 9 guys that can step out and hit shots.
All right, guys. Well, we've got 3 games tonight to look forward to. Knicks, Hawks. That is your ESPN game early. Then ABC, you've got Brooklyn and Boston. And then the late game is Clippers and Mavs. And then there's a full slate of games over the weekend. We will be back with you guys, probably do a podcast sometime Sunday night, although it's the holidays, so that's still TBD. But be sure to keep checking wherever you get your local podcasts. So for Nick Young and Sladro, I am Andrew Rosenberg. This is Offensive Foul. We will talk to you next time.